Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my how to draw tutorial. My first how to draw tutorial on this new channel. And I thought that for this one, I would start off with something that we all have trouble with, and that's hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some basic techniques on how to draw a, not realistic as much, but how to get the basics of the hand down so that you can, and these basic techniques can be used for a simplified hand or even a realistic hand. You can use these same principles. So I'm just going to show you how to do the hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you guys can see a decent area and really get a good view of what's going on here. So 1 second, I will zoom in. Alright guys, you can see here I've zoomed in a little bit, and I don't normally use black lead when I draw. When I sketch, especially, I usually use this, which has blue lead, but I didn't know how well blue would show up on the screen, so I figured I'll just use black. So let's just get started here. Alright, so the basis of a hand, if you notice, if I put my hand down here, is this shape here is what we're going to do here. The hand and palm area. And as you can see, it's basically, if you were to cut this through here, it's basically got the same shape as a rectangle shape. So that's kind of what we're going for here. Alright, now you've seen here that I've already kind of gone ahead and drawn a basic shape of a hand. Now the reason I did this is just to give me something to kind of show you how the hand is broken up. Now the hand itself here, like I noted before, is basically a rectangular shape for the palm or back of the hand. And that deals with kind of this portion of your hand, this portion here. It just kind of breaks, if you break that down, it's basically that kind of shape. Your fingers, however, which is the hardest part, breaks down a little bit differently. As you can see here, the thumb itself breaks off kind of a triangular shape here to go into where the thumb is. As you can see, it's kind of a triangular shape, that shape there. And that kind of is how it juts off from where this is. If I can actually, I would marker my hand, but then that would be bad. But like right around where that is, it juts off into kind of a triangular shape. As you can see, and that does flex. As you can see, that is a bone. And the reason it's a triangle is just because of the skin. If I push the skin in there, you'll notice that there's nothing really there. That's the bone right there. That's where the thumb is. Now, obviously, doing the underside of the hand will be a little bit different, but we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with this. So, obviously, I'm doing a right hand here. And then remember, all of your fingers are can be broken up into like little kind of cylinder box shapes. If you really want to get simplified, that's how you can break your finger up into multiple fingers, like into multiple little rectangles of their own. And as you can see, they follow an arc. Is the whole thing here. They follow a little bit of an arc, an arc, an arc. And even the knuckles back here follow an arc pattern. And sorry about that. Let me just I'm just trying to show you everything here. Now, as you can see here, if you see how it's broken up, it's a little bit easier, but it's another way of thinking of each of the individual fingers. And as a good comic book artist noted, his name is Todd McFarlane. He writes and draws for Image, which he kind of founded. He used to draw for Marvel and other companies, but now he's kind of on his own. He always described fingers as kind of a peanut shape, which is kind of how he described them. And what he meant by peanut shape is this kind of shape here. If you think of it that way, if you connect your fingers in that sense, and then this one's kind of a half peanut shape, you can see that you kind of get a finger here. And my peanuts are a little off, but if you think of it that way, you can actually go in and think there's the knuckle. Each of the ends of the peanuts is an end of the finger. So if you do it like that, and think of it in that sense, and outline here, you get a finger. See? Each of the bottom ends of the peanuts are the knuckles. And in a finger, there are 3 knuckles. There's the bridge knuckle, that one, the middle knuckle, that one, and then the top knuckle, which is that one, which allows your tip of your finger to bend. And everywhere there's a knuckle, there'll be kind of like those lines. But don't worry about that if you're doing like a simplified type simplified type cartooning and stuff. Because if you really wanted to get into detail, you'd have like, your fingernail, and then you'd have, different knuckles. You have your knuckle, and then you'd have this knuckle, which is kind of weird because of the way it's shaped. Kind of goes off like that. So it all depends on how you decide to draw. So next I'm going to kind of show you how to do a hand in kind of a pose. That way it's not just a straight flat hand. So be right back and I'll show you a quick little pose. Now you can see here I went along and made a little bit of a hand pose. And this I'm trying to show off not type of realism, but more of the way of doing it in kind of a cartoony comic style. So you can see here, the basics of what I did was, first I started off by drawing this box shape here. And I did it in blue pencil just so I could have everything and then just show you how I did it. So I started with that. Then what I did was I drew another box. I made this flat box into kind of a cube type shape with that. Because remember, everything is 3D. Your hand is in 3 dimensions, so you have to portray it as 3-dimensional. Now from there, I went ahead and I did the box that the thumb will be coming out of. And then obviously the wrist, just to kind of show it off. Now this hand is kind of coming towards us a little bit, which is why you can see this space here. Now for the fingers, if you're doing a more simplified style, you don't have to draw every single like square and then square and then square and everything like that. You can actually simplify it to almost a 2 rectangle system. So like here I drew 1 rectangle, and then I drew 1 more for the top section, allowing the bottom section to be a little bit shorter. Because remember, if you break it in half, if you break your finger in half here, you notice that these 2 sections are about equal. And then this one is obviously divided in half by 1 more knuckle there. But these 2 sections here are equal, are cut in half. So the whole finger is cut in half once for 1 knuckle, and then cut in half 1 more time for another knuckle. So that's an easy way of remembering it. So then if you repeat that process for the middle knuckle, now with the middle knuckle you got to do a little foreshortening, but we'll get into that in a later series. So that one's kind of coming at us. They're all kind of coming at us a little bit, so you kind of have to fiddle around a little bit with the way you do it. And then the pinky, which is this tiny one over here, he just kind of sits out like that. So that's how you do the fingers if you break it up into just 2. And obviously if you wanted to, you could add, the other one here and the other one here for the other knuckle. But you don't have to. And then the same thing with the thumb. Break it into the 2 parts, since the thumb is only 2 parts. And that's basically how you get a hand. And then from there you just add whatever details you need to. Like if he's wearing like if the character's wearing some type of glove, you can obviously add that there. So that's the basics of how you get it down. And then you can add like your knuckles if you want to. You don't have to, obviously, because remember, for here we're going more for simplicity, so we're not really trying to get the greatest amount of detail here. So that's the basics of how you would get a hand done. And if I continue that there, I can get a basic structure for an arm. So now I'm getting a little more into the fancier stuff if you wanted to. And that's where the fancier stuff comes into play. And this is all just anatomy stuff. I won't get into that until way later. So, as you can see there, that is basically how you draw a hand. Now, I hope that was helpful enough to get you kind of the basics of it. If you need more into how to really get a hand drawn, then just ask in the comments section below. Ask any real problems you're having with hands and such, and I will try my best to answer any questions you have. So, thank you for watching. Please comment, subscribe if you would like, and leave a like, please. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.